Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. And today is going to be the third and last, for now, video about a certain topic that I want to talk about, and I'm doing this specifically because there have been many people who seem to enjoy my rambly videos and the things I talk about, so for that, thank you very much. But for now, I don't really have any other topics that come to mind quickly, so if you guys want me or want to give my opinion on a certain thing about the game, make sure to go ahead and leave it in a comment below. But for now, we are going to talk about what's in the title, and that is why I personally think RuneScape is never going to truly evolve as a game, and especially not get any skill or any new skill. It's never gonna happen, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Now, before we start with the topic itself, I need to establish two things. Number one, what do I mean by truly evolving? And number two, I just want to make it really clear that the fact that I personally think old school RuneScape is never going to evolve, like truly evolve as, as old school RuneScape, doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, and for that we are going to go to the end of the video when I finish telling you my personal ideas on the things that we have seen in this game throughout the years. So, let's begin. So, what do I mean by truly evolving? Now, what comes to mind right away is the fact that the game could get either, not just old school RuneScape, but any game could potentially get a DLC or maybe something like an expansion, and what comes to mind would be skills like divination, invention, and archaeology in RuneScape 3. Of course, we are talking about RuneScape 3 once again because I am going to make those comparisons for things that you will see later in the video. So, for games that get DLC, think of your standard World of Warcraft. Now, I've never really played it too much. I think I only have a couple of hours in World of Warcraft. I played a bit of Myths of Pandaria or something like that. It wasn't like really that much. But from what my friends told me is that the game DLC is basically the game expanded, but typically you do the same activities, right? From what I remember and understand, I don't really know if that's the case today. It doesn't seem like the meta of what you do changes that much, other than, let's say, some grinding spots for combat, because obviously, if you have a higher level, it means that you need to kill higher level monsters in order to level up faster, and so on. But DLC in itself, I don't think truly means a real evolution of a game. It just, keeps going I guess its course, and think of it as what OSRS does, adding content. We just get it for free because we pay our $11 worth of membership, insert crab dancing meme right here. But other than DLC, what do I mean by, let's say, RuneScape 3 getting, let's say, an expansion with those three skills that I mentioned before? If you haven't played RuneScape 3, I'm going to give you a really quick rundown, and if you don't know, divination is basically you gathering energy from different sources or different areas in the map, and then you can use those resources in order to create items that are going to allow you to either train differently or, I guess, transmute your items into doing something like really useful. So for example, you can get energy and then you can get some items, and with those two things you are able to create things such as things called divine skilling locations, which are basically ridiculous ways to get like a great amount of experience per day. You can transmute your charms, and then you can create blue charms from your crimson charms. You can create crimson charms from green charms, and so on. So it's basically like a different way to train and give you access to more and more items. There is Invention, which pretty much changed the entire meta of the game, both for skilling, support, and combat. What do I mean? Basically, if you don't know, Invention is a way to power up your items, your gear, your skilling tools. It gives you skilling outfits to give you even more experience and more perks. So in my personal opinion, Invention, like I said before, has been one of the biggest and most diverse changes to RuneScape 3, and Invention is also a great item sink for the game because you have to disassemble items for the components in order to create those items. Now, last but not least, my favorite skill in RuneScape 3 is archaeology, and it's basically the biggest, even Jagex has said that archaeology is the biggest update and the biggest skill release in the entire history of the game. And if you have played RuneScape 3 and if you have taken part in archaeology, you know exactly why that is. And it's basically that archaeology also flips the game on its head and just gives you so many things to do that it's just basically unreal. I mean, once you finish archaeology to 120 and all of the achievements, you can still do a ton of cool things with the skill, both for money making, to level your invention and so on. So basically, archaeology, invention, and the divination have been expansions that pretty much change, maybe not the entire meta of the game, but it really flips it on its head, like I said before, and that is basically what I personally think means evolving the game as a whole. If you guys remember, the evolution of combat was, a game evolution in itself, but it's one that we didn't really take in, really nicely at first, right? So with all of this or I guess, how do I call this? With all of this information, it is time for me to tell you why I personally think old school RuneScape will never either get a new skill or truly evolve as a game. Now, in old school RuneScape, we have a ton of great updates that, give you more diversity when training skills, gives you more items, more resources, more, many different ways in order for you not to burn out doing the same activities over and over and over again. Most recently that comes to mind is Temporos, which is basically the fishing skilling boss, so think of it as a winter toad for fishing. Some of the upcoming changes are going to be, or I guess updates, it's going to be the Theater of Blood hard mode. We are going to get a magic Arceus spellbook rework, which is probably going to give us some different ways to train, but those things, in my personal opinion, will never truly change the core gameplay that is old school RuneScape. We will still do the same activities to level up, we will still do the same activities to gain money, and honestly, there's really nothing bad with that. If you want to look at the previous skill proposals that we've had, we've got sailing, which in my I haven't really done like a lot of research on this because it's really never going to come out, and honestly it would be kind of weird to get excited about something that will never see the light of day in the game. So basically, sailing seemed like it was going to, be like a catalyst for more exploration, for more items, training locations. We also had a skill called Artisan, I believe, which from what I have read or heard, it was going to be basically a combination between Slayer and either crafting or construction. It was basically a way of someone telling you, hey, I need this much of this item, bring it back, and then you get your experience and your reward. And the last one, I believe maybe not the closest one, but the latest one, which was warding. From reading the blog and watching the videos about warding, it seemed like it was going to be a way of introducing invention to the game. Maybe not in a way of, giving you access to changes of the entire weapons or armor or tools, but it was going to be a great money sink for you to level up and, keep the game fresh. So from what I remember, it was going to be a way for you to, discover more items. It was basically going to be a way to create your own magic armor, weapons and everything. Think of smithing what is to combat and fletching what is to ranging. So that was going to be basically like a little patch for you to create your own items. And from what Jagex said, it seemed like it was going to be a little brother of the invention skill in RuneScape 3, which I think was going to be a great idea. But when it comes to my final thoughts for the video, which is really not going to be that long right now, I realized that the longer it goes, the more references I made to other games, and especially RuneScape 3, because you need to understand where these things coming from and basically why they will never reach old school RuneScape. And the simple answer is that there are just so many people in this game that think that if you change the core of the gameplay to a certain extent, it is basically not going to be old school RuneScape anymore, and I completely agree with that, because even though I personally, I have a max Infernal cape, I have a music cape, a quest cape, achievement diary cape, other than, let's say, collection log and pets and, you know, mastering PVMing, which, you know, I still have a lot to do in the game if I want to reach my limits, I personally, I was never against a new skill, and I was actually really excited for it because I have been looking so long for things to, you know, draw me back into the game the way Leagues and Leagues 2 did, right? So for example, me playing Leagues and Leagues 2 was basically a way to keep the game fresh and, you know, just basically do it from scratch and everything. But introducing a new skill was basically you playing the game, doing something new from the game you love. But honestly, I don't really think that is ever going to come to old school RuneScape for the simple reason that people think that changing the game like this, like I said in RuneScape 3, those skills change, or I guess flip the game on its head. If people play old school RuneScape, it's basically because we want to relive the experience that we felt when we were kids. We are nostalgic, we love the game as it is right now. And even though a lot of people like the idea of introducing game-changing updates such as, you know, a new skill or maybe new areas in a way, I don't think people are ready for that quite yet, and there are still a lot of people who are against it because, you know, either they haven't mastered everything, they haven't achieved everything they want, and of course there are going to be people who think, you know, this game is already grindy enough, why do we need a new skill, it's really not that necessary, and I really don't want to grind another 99 in order to get my maxscape and everything. And even though I haven't, and I have spent an obscene amount of money on money and time on this game, I personally will never be against a new skill or a brand new update that will, you know, again, flip the game on its head. Because I love this game so much, but at this particular moment, I really need something to take me back, you know, like, or I guess catch me in a way, so I can, you know, sink a ton of hours into this game because honestly, I love it. That is the reason why I am playing RuneScape 3, because I love this game so much that I even have to go to RuneScape 3 in order to kind of try some new content, because honestly, old school RuneScape, for me personally, for the things I was doing, it was getting a bit tiresome, a bit, you know, boring, I was getting burnt out. And even though that's my personal opinion as a max player who has done a lot of completion in the game, I know that a lot of people are going to be in my position who don't necessarily feel that way and are going to be like, you know, I'm not burnt out, but I am not ready for a new skill because I haven't finished, mastered everything I want to achieve in this game, and that is completely fine. So, in short, I personally think old school RuneScape will never truly evolve because honestly, it's never going to get a new skill. We could potentially get some updates that make the game evolve, but not in a way that a new skill is going to give us, you know, that experience of, you know, having some brand new content in the game. And for that reason, I believe it's completely fine, but I will never be against a new skill or an update that is going to basically change the whole game as we know it. But I guess a lot of people, you know, like I said, if people play old school RuneScape, it's because we are in love with the game from our childhood. And honestly, if you play this game, there's a very low chance that you like change, and that is completely fine. So that's my opinion, and I hope you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comments, you know, I hope you liked it. And if you agree or disagree, make sure to leave me a comment down below as to why you think RuneScape has evolved, or why you think it hasn't evolved or isn't going to evolve in the future, and we are going to stay the same way with just a few updates here and there that are just going to give us a couple of, you know, maybe new weapons, new armor, new items, but not something truly significant and huge to the level that we've had RuneScape 3, Divination, Invention, and Archaeology. So with that, thank you guys very much for watching, and we are going to start pumping more videos out. The next one is going to be how to make money as a beginner and how to maintain your membership with OSRS Cash. Thank you guys very much for watching, have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.